moving forward, because our player is going to have animations, we are going to create a new folder and we are going to name it animations. And in the same folder, we are going to create a folder for player animations, so player animations, and lastly for our zombie animation, so zombie animations. And let me just add s at the end. So now we are going to go in our sprites, and for our players, select the player here, and we have already configured it in the previous video. Click on sprite editor, and here for the slice, click on slice, and we are going to slice each of these individual, sprite pieces. And now hit apply so that change applies to this, sprite sheet. So now I'm first going to create the idle animation, which is our first two images, so player 0 and player 1. I'm simply going to drag and drop it here, and this is automatically going to create here a, animation. And I'm going to rename this animation to idle and select both of these animations and drag and drop them here in our player animations folder. I'm going to rename the player here in the hierarchy panel to simply player. And now what we are going to do is we are going to create other animations. For that, we need our animation window here, and I'm going to drag it here. If you don't have this window or this animation panel, go here under window and then click on animation. We are also going to need animator, which is right here, but if you don't have it, just simply go here under window, click on animator. So now we are going to use our animation, so this one right here, which is, this one that I have just opened. And now I'm going to click here on the player, and we see that we have our idle animation, which is, this one right here. But we also need our walk animation. So I'm going to click here where it says idle and click on create new clip. And I'm going to save it here in our animations folder and our player animations. And I'm going to name this one walk, or simply name it run because our player is running. And samples are going to be 12. This is frames per second. And we are going to take images from player 2 up to player 12. So all of these, simply select them and drag and drop them here in our animation panel. So now we have our animations. We can move back our animation panel. And now if I select the player and click here in the animator panel, again, if you don't have the animator panel, go under window and click here, and then you will have that panel. I'm simply going to rename this animation from player, and you can rename it here in the inspector panel to idle. So here we have our idle and our run animation for our player. I am also going to select the player and attach a box collider on it, and also attach a rigid body on our player. And for the constraints, I'm going to freeze the Z rotation. And this is it for our player at the moment. So I'm going to go here under assets and create here a prefabs folder. And inside of this folder, I'm going to create a new folder, which is going to be our player prefabs or prefab, and simply drag and drop here our player prefab. So now we can move forward on our zombie. So I'm simply going to select our zombie, go again in the sprite editor and make sure that the sprite mode is in multiple, which we have configured in the previous video. Click on slice here and simply click slice, and this will slice everything. And hit apply here in this top right corner, so to say. And now we can simply drag and drop our zombie. So drag and drop it here in the scene, and again take his animations and place them here in our zombie animations folder. Now for our zombie, I'm also going to rename it here in our panel, and I'm going to set its scale at -1 so that he's facing left side, because we are going to spawn it here from the right and he's going to go towards the left side. I am also going to attach a box collider on our, zombie here, and we are also going to attach a rigid body on him. And freeze the Z rotation the same way we froze it for our player. And in the prefabs folder, I'm going to create here obstacles, prefabs, and we are going to drag and drop our zombie here in the obstacle prefabs. So this is it for setting up our player and setting up our zombie. So of course we have even more work to do with both of them, especially creating their scripts, so on and so forth, but we are going to do that a little bit later. And now that we have created prefabs out of them, we can simply delete them from our scene. And next we are going to take a look at preparing our other obstacles.